Now, I have got the job where I'm going to try and show you some of the stuff that Mike has been talking about. So I'm going to touch on certain areas. I'm not going to go too deep into other areas. The first thing I'm going to start off with, though, is I just need to tell you about the company. So I work for a company called Quantec, and what we do is we sell servers and all of the great things that come along with servers, the storage. And I'm working with a customer. My customer is Neurovata Technologies. They deal with all of the great AI agents and building some products around the AI. So what's happened here, I've already got a quote that's been created. I've got some products that are associated to this quote. I've got a Quantum Pro all-inclusive and an API pack. I'm not going to go too much into RCA because we're not here to see that. But I've got this section here, which is price by usage. And this gives me all of the details about everything that is coming as part of my usage pack. So I've got grants for my snapshots, I've got storage, I've got API calls and transfers. And within the transfers, I've got tiered pricing. So this is quite a complex quote. I've got a number of different usages that I'm going to be offering. Now, this has been sent out to my customer. My customer's really happy with it. And what they're going to do is they're going to accept that quote. I could go in and show you me accepting the quote from the DocuSign, but that is going to take up too much time. What I'd like to show you now is, as part of this quote, I'm going to come to the related section and we're going to look at what happens within the related section. So I've now got a section here, which is going to give me my orders. And as part of my orders, we can again see that this has been transferred from my quote. And if I come over to the related section, we will see there's no invoices attached and there are no billing schedules attached to this. So what you would probably do is go through a guardrail where somebody from your operations team, your billing ops, would just confirm that they were happy with this order, and then they would mark that order as activated. So there's a guardrail there to ensure that, yes, I'm happy with this order before we go ahead and do anything on that order. Let's just give that time to refresh. Now, what we can see here is on my order, I have what are called these billing schedules. And these billing schedules are going to represent everything that I'm going to invoice. So we saw my quote that I had some products on there. I've got a billing schedule for each of my usage products here. I've also got a billing schedule for my one-time and my recurring fees. So that's now enabled me, it's set me up ready for billing. As you can see here, the status is ready for invoicing, and the next invoice date is going to be the 1st of May. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to jump into my account. So this is my Neurovata Technologies account. And within my account, I have my details on the account, any relationships and my contacts, any sales. This section here relates to the customer where they've done any self-service. So as Mike's mentioned, Salesforce, RCA and RCB is API first. So you can leverage all of the products, the pricing, all of the assets, the upsells. You can surface that through an Experience Cloud site or any kind of site that you have yourself. Within this finance section, my customer, as they signed up, they authorized a credit card. So I have this saved payment method on my account. But what I want to do now quickly is, we've been talking about usage. My customer has multiple different platforms. So as part of the platforms, they're producing usage records hourly or daily. And what we can do is we can connect directly to those platforms via an API, or we could simply have the customer upload those usage records directly into the platform. So I've created some usage records. these are the usage records for my storage, for my transfer, my snapshot, and my API calls. What I'll do is I'll just upload these. So this could be, like I say, an API job that's going to happen overnight. Let's just go to my downloads quickly. And here we can see my usage. So let's just open that. Now, my usage data is going to be uploaded successfully. And what that's going to do, it's going to go through a number of different processes. So we're going to start to create usage summaries and aggregate that usage data. We're then going to start to apply the rates. So we can apply rates to that usage data. And then we'll be in a position to actually bill for that usage data. Now, I've got this little section here, so let's just give a quick refresh. And we should see that my usage data has been imported into the system. So here we have it. We can see my usage data as it's been populated. So now I'm in a position to go and create my invoices. So what I'm going to do, I'll just navigate back to my order again. So this was the order that we created. This was the order that we activated. Again, we have the related list here where we have our billing schedules. They're ready for invoicing from the first. Now, what you can do is you can have an invoice scheduler that's set up to run overnight. It could be run weekly, it could be run daily, it could be run monthly, dependent on your business process. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, firstly, before I do that, there's a neat little section here, which is preview invoices. So for those of you that have worked with Salesforce billing, it was very difficult to understand exactly what your invoices were going to look like. So before I generate my invoice, I'm just going to click on this section here, and I'm going to preview the next two billing periods. I'm doing it from the 1st of May. So let's do, that's going to be my invoice date, and I'm generating two periods now to have a look at. So here I can see this is my first invoice, and that invoice is going to be from the 1st of May. And I can see I've got my all-inclusive product. I've got my storage usage, my snapshots, my API calls. I have my transfers, my API call pack. I have my one-off products here, which are the API call pack and the hardware installation. And then I have my recurring software support, which is paid annually. So as you can see, my invoice is going to be 98,749. What we can do is look at next month's invoice. I haven't loaded any usage in yet because we've not got into next month. So let's just have a quick look and see how my invoice will look next month. So I can see the invoice value that I've got is the all-inclusive Pro server. And currently I have no usage in there, so it doesn't appear. And all of my one-time products have now dropped off. So let's actually generate that invoice now. Like I said, in a batch process that would run overnight, let's generate my invoice. Let's set this for the 1st of May. So my target date is the 1st of May and my invoice date is the 1st of May. Let's generate that. Now I'm just going to come back to my related tab again. And in my related tab, we can now see that I have an invoice that's been created. Let's navigate to my invoice. We can see my invoice has been sent out to James Matheson. So automatically my invoice has been sent out, and I can actually have a look at the file here. Here is my file with all of the details on my invoice, which is nice and simple for my client to understand. Let's navigate to the related list. Here are my invoice lines. Now, as part of the invoice creation, what we've automatically done is created a payment schedule. So as the invoice was created, I know that I need to go and collect $98,749 from my customer. If you remember earlier, when I was going through the customer account, we've already authorized their credit card. So we're in a position now to go and collect the money for this invoice. So what I'll do is I'll quickly run the payment scheduler. Again, this would normally be an automated process that you would set to run, say, daily, weekly, monthly. So I'm just going to kick this off manually. I do want to create my payment scheduler. And my payment scheduler has been created. So within my top tab here, I'm going to go and look at my schedulers. So I have my billing batch schedulers, which is where I will do all of my invoice runs and my payment runs. So I am looking for my payment scheduler that I've just created, which at my time is 1720. So let's just open this up. And let's go to the related list. So the payment billing criteria, that will go through and match invoices that are due for payment today and that have a payment method of credit card. So for every invoice that has a payment method of credit card where the invoice is due, it will go through and pick those up. I now have my payment batch run that's been created. So let's open my payment batch run. And then within my payment batch run, I should see my payment scheduler items. And directly from here, I can get to, sorry, that was the wrong record. I can see that the requested amount has been taken. Let's navigate back to my invoice. Okay, just give that a moment to process. Total processed amount. That's now complete. Okay, let's just give this a, I'm probably being a little bit too quick. So now we can see that my invoice is now has a balance of 0. And we can see that my total amount outstanding is 0. And if we come down into the section here, this invoice settlement information, we can see that my net payments that have been applied are $98,749.20. So what we've done is from my quote, we've created an order. From that order, we've also imported some usage data. That usage data has been rated. It's been put onto my invoice. We've generated the invoice, and we've also been able to collect that invoice. What I'd like to just cover off very quickly is, as Mike mentioned, there's some really powerful collection stuff that we can manage within the system. So I'm just going to come over to my good pal Agentforce over here. And I'm just going to ask Agentforce to show me any accounts that I've got or any accounts that have invoices over 60 days past due. Please show me invoices over 60, again, terrible spelling, 60 days past.
This is why we don't like manual processes.
It is, yeah. So thank you, Kelly. What Agentforce is doing, it's going and querying the database behind the scene, and it's going to return me a list of all of the invoices that are 60 days past due, so that I can then take action. Here we go. There we go. So I have a number of different invoices. I can choose to view more, but let's go and look at this invoice here. This invoice is 186 days past due. It's not great. Sorry, let's look at this one. Okay, now this invoice I can see is in collections. So we have a debt status of in collections. So if I come to the related section here, I'll see a collections plan. So Mike mentioned about having automated dunning processes. So we can really start to automate where we are spending our time from an AR function. We can automate that process. I'm just going to come into my collections plan and have a look at this. And I can look at the related invoices that are associated to this. And I can also set where these invoices look, or what status these invoices are actually in. I don't have the time to now, but I can also go and create a collections payment promise, which is where I can start to work with the customer and have them pay these invoices over a number of months. So I could say the total debt overdue is 20,000. I want to split that 20,000 over a number of months. What I'm going to do is just going to come back to my account here, and the invoice that we saw that was in bad debt, I'm actually going to write that invoice off now. So we didn't have this functionality before. Let's just come up to this section here. I can see all of my invoices that I've got available to write off. Let's choose that one, which is DOC. Let's choose 20, sorry. Let's choose DOC 20. Let's click on next. And what that's done now is that written off that invoice for me. So I come to my finance tab. I look at invoice 20. And now I can see that this invoice has been written off. I have very little time left. What I want to show you now is the really powerful part. So for every action that we're doing within Salesforce, so every invoice creation, for every payment collection, for every payment allocation, for every write-off, we're actually creating double entry transactions. So here are my double entry transactions. And what I can do is I'm actually logged into my ERP. So I'm now going to come to the end of the month. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close my accounting period. So let's come into my accounting period. I'm going to choose June and come into my June account. Here I can see all of my related invoice line, all of my tax lines, all of my credit memos, and any payments that have been created, and my payment allocations. Now, I want to close this accounting period. So I can click on close accounting period. I'm going to get a warning to say, do I really want to close this? Let's click on close. Okay, so what we've now started is the financial or the month-end close process, and we've kicked that off within Salesforce. So we're closing that period. We're not going to be able to make any more entries into any of the journals for that period. But the cool thing is now this is actually going to be automated directly into my ERP. So as we've spoken about, Mike and I, we are talking about managing your products, your pricing, managing your usage and your rating, managing your invoices, your collections and your dunnings directly within Salesforce. But then what we're doing is we're passing that data down into our ERP. So we've got our journal entries being created in here. So as a finance analyst, as a finance manager, I can still continue to work within my ERP that I'm used to working within. Let's just come over into my finance section. Let's have a look at my general journals. I'm padding for time a little bit because it takes a few moments to actually create the journals in the platform. Let's just navigate over to my action. And here we can see I've got my journals that have been created from June the 1st up to June the 30th. And if I navigate into this, I'll be able to see all of the journal entries that have been created for all of the items that have been created within that June month. That has taken us pretty much up to time. So I'm going to stop sharing there. Apologies, I didn't get to show you everything in as much detail as I'd like to have, but hopefully that's given you a little bit of an overview of exactly what Salesforce Revenue Cloud Advanced with Revenue Cloud Billing can achieve.
Yeah, thank you so much, Justin. And yes, as Justin said, he is from PhiX. So this is kind of what you saw. So if you liked what you saw, which I think you probably did because it's pretty darn sweet, give your salesperson a call, PhiX a call, anybody, you know how to get a hold of all of us. And thank you for your time today, everybody.